disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fits, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden, and with me, as always, my podcast partner, Joe Hartley. What's up, man?
What's up?
Angel Diaz will not be with us tonight. He has some stuff going on at his school, so he's not going to be here. If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Internet Network. On Tuesdays, you got the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Thursdays is us. Fits, Kicks, and Flicks with Jim, Joe, and Angel. Twice a month, we got the traditional way with Brett Shumway. And then once a month, we got Extra Scoop with Peyton and Jeff. For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Internet Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Joe, it's showtime. What's going on, man?
You know what, man? Just trying to hang in there. It's been a fun couple of weeks, you know?
Yeah, man. I mean, because with you, it's the end of summer and your kids are in so many different activities and you got work and you're, all over the place and it's back to school. So,
yeah, but then back to school starts and we get a full-on thunderstorm, power outage. I've never seen a whole school district go out of power before.
Wow. So the kids are out of school too, huh?
Just for that one day, the only one who had school was my son. The middle school somehow came up. Okay. But my wife's school was out. All the high schools were out. All the elementary schools were out. It was crazy. Like, I've never seen that.
I don't understand this power outage thing. I don't understand why it happens. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Melissa, she grew up in Canada. And she says, that when they have an outage, it's back up within 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes. They don't stay down. Their grid does not stay down.
What are they doing different? Because we need.
That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. It doesn't make sense. So her being here now, when we have the power outage, she's just like, what the hell? Like, I don't understand. And she even told her. I was listening to her talk to her parents one time. And she was telling them that the power can go out and it be out for days. Sometimes it can't be. Luckily, we haven't had that here at our house, but we've had like maybe a day or so, without power before, and it just doesn't make sense. And they're right across the water. They're right across the river. I have no idea. It doesn't make sense.
Here's the craziest part about my power. So, on my side of the road, it's a different power grid than across the street from me. So it's been where my power was on and no power across the street. You hear generators going and vice versa. So that's what it was this time. My side was out. Across the street had power. I'm like,
that's weird.
It's the craziest thing. So from my understanding, it's usually just a tree or a transformer or something like that. But I lost power that night, that Tuesday night at 6:30 p.m. We didn't have power again till 4 p.m. the next day. So that's what, 22 hours?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And then the crazier part is, so I don't know how Xfinity fits into all this, but I didn't get internet again till the next night. So after the power came on, we had no internet for almost 12, 13 hours. So it was the whole thing. It was just crazy.
You seem like you have a generator. You have a generator, don't you?
My mom has a generator that but my dad kept it running, so we don't. That thing. The neighbor has a nice generator, and he has a company that uses generators, so he'll send one over to my mom. But no, I don't have one at the house.
Oh, okay. I thought you had one.
I would love to have. I want one of those generators that just kicks on, powers the whole house. That'd be great. But You know, that you're spending $10,000+ on that.
Yeah.
And my neighbor, he's got one like that. You can run it with an app and everything.
Mhm.
First time the power went out, it didn't kick in. So
And
he
those
had to
things are
call a
so
company.
loud too. Those things are so doggone loud. If I had one, I would feel bad about disturbing the neighbors.
Yeah, but here's the problem. So they have gotten quieter, but they still are loud. But when you got one going in the neighborhood, there's probably 25 at the same. So you can't even.
Yeah.
Eventually, you just get used to it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because my neighbor has one, and when we have power out over here, I hear his. But eventually, it becomes like noise in the background. I don't even notice it anymore.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I told my kids, I'm like, you know what? This is a good for us to just get out of the house, go do something outside, spend time as a family, get away from the devices. And I'm not saying like I'm a culprit of it too. I spent a lot of time on my devices and computers and stuff, but it was nice. We got out of the house. We went for a walk. We went and visited my mom. We stayed at my mother-in-law's for the night, and just hung out over there. Had breakfast with them in the morning. Caught up on things, so it was fine. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
What were you doing when the blackout happened in '03? Was it '03 or '04?
I could tell you exactly. I lived in a apartment,
Mm-hmm.
and it was me, my wife / she was my girlfriend at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and my best friend Sean, aka Chewy.
Mm-hmm.
And we were just chilling at the apartment. So my mom and dad needed help with something. So I remember you could barely get through on the cell phone. It took you had to keep calling. So it took us. So I was 5 minutes from my parents. It took me 35 minutes just to get there.
Wow.
But yeah, we were just chilling.
Okay.
We were just chilling. We went over to my parents. Got washed up over there because my dad had the generator going, so we could use the water. And I think we ended up staying the night there because I think it was out for like a day and a half, 2 days.
It depended on the area that you were in. Some people had it out a lot longer than that.
Yeah, I know some people had it out for like 5-6 days.
Yeah, and that was at a time when, of course, we had the internet, right? But most people, like the internet, for most people, have been around for maybe 10 years at that time. So a lot of people really weren't dependent on the internet like we are now. So when that thing happened, it was just like, oh, okay, you weren't worried about being on your phone. As a matter of fact, you weren't on your phone because our phones didn't do the internet at that time. Really,
not really.
No, I mean, unless you had a two-way pager, most of the cell phones at the time, you wouldn't have been getting on the internet anyway.
Nope.
It wasn't all the,
Nope.
there wasn't social media at that time. So you really wasn't missing out on anything, So, I was staying in the townhouse at that time down in Taylor when that thing happened. And, my power came back on about 10 o'clock. Yeah. So the girl that I was with at that time, we just went, we went to Meijer, got some stuff. Our stove was gas, so we could still cook.
Okay.
We could cook some things on the stove. And we just sat there, and our stuff came back on at 10 o'clock, so we were good after that. It was just normal for us. So we weren't out for days like some people were.
Yeah.
But if that happens now, I can't imagine what Champ or DJ would do if it goes out now, like the power, everything just goes down for. Wow, I couldn't imagine.
My kids are like, get us out of here. We're back in the Stone Age, Like, come on, y'all don't even know. Like, we used to go up north, and you had no internet. You barely had, decent
service.
Power.
You barely had phone service. You barely had phone
cable.
service.
So, and it's nice. We used to, go four-wheeling and have campfires and, be kids and have fun. So, it was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, other than that, Layla had her first football game. So she has to do the pregame for that, and then we got to stay till halftime, and then she does a performance at halftime with the marching band, and then we can go. Thank God, because no, man, our football, the Northern football team is bad. Like they were bad last year, but they had some promise this year. But they kept every time they got a little momentum, they just kept shooting themselves in the foot. But they lost that game 35-0.
Ooh, goodness gracious, 35
to
nothing.
South Lyon, and yeah, so it's just not fun to watch. But the marching band was great. Marching band looked good. Everybody was cheering. The other team, man, their crowd is rotten. They kept talking junk from afar. They'd be like, it was 21-0. They're going, look at the scoreboard. Look at. I'm like, dang. Like,
That should have been
I mean,
fun,
I get
man.
it. Oh, I'm sure for them it was great. For me, it was just, busting my butt to sit there and wait to watch my daughter. Waiting for the NFL to start next week. Because I got like 6 more of those because we only have to go to the home games.
I can tell you, man, I don't have a problem watching football. It doesn't matter. I can watch any type of football, and I've never played football. A lot of people, I've had people stop me in stores and restaurants and ask me if I played for a college team or a pro team. I said, no, I'm not a football player. I'm a fighter. I'm not a football player. I'm a former fighter, but no. But I can watch any kind of football. I can watch I watch the spring games sometimes. I just like watching football. So when I've gone to high school games, I could sit there and watch and not be bored at all.
Well,
even in that type of situation that you were in, where they're losing, I want to see them win at least get one touchdown. So I know that this team is probably not going to win at this point. So now for the rest of the time, I'm just rooting for them to get one touchdown.
I gotta say, the kids on both sides are very talented.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, South Lyon was capitalizing on most of their stuff. Northern would, they would get some momentum, and then they'd, get penalties or they'd fumble. They got a touchdown called back on a holding call. They had the other team. It was 14-0. The other team, they had them on the 2-yard line, 4th and 40. Right? Okay, that should be a turnover on downs, right?
4th and 40. Damn.
Yes. So they throw a 45-yard pass in high school, and dude rips it.
Fuck it.
Dude rips it out of the defender's hand. Almost took off down the field with it. I said, I just want
that they had been going crazy when they made that kick.
Yes, I was going crazy. I'm like, how do you even let that happen? That should have been the game right there that changed the whole thing. They should have sacked the quarterback for a safety. They should have got turnover on downs and ran it in. I'm like, man, it would have been 7-14. Y'all would have been looking good, but nope. So, hopefully the next game will be better, but I don't think they got a home game again for a couple of weeks. Oh, no, the next one's homecoming. So, yeah, it's in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then I don't even know who they're playing for that one, but hopefully it'll be a better game. The other two, staying busy, keeping up with everything. And then Sunday, we went and saw my dad's gravesite was finally all put together. We put him to rest at a Navy. Well, it's not just Navy. It's all around, Marines, Navy, Air Force, all that, in Mount Holly.
Okay.
So he gets a nice gravestone. We put his ashes over there. So we went and saw that. And that was nice. They did a good job. It's real clean. The whole place is so beautiful. And we took some pictures, said a few words. So that was real good. And then when we all went, we had a ceremony a few months ago, and we all went and ate at a Coney. So we decided to go back and eat at that same Coney.
Okay.
And then spent the rest of the day at my mother-in-law's. And yeah, it was a nice weekend, man. Good. Did Labor Day at my mom's. It was beautiful weather. Went fishing. I actually caught a fish. I haven't caught a fish in freaking 10 years. I let the kids do it, but that one, I just like all of a sudden I was like, oh, here we go. So that was fun.
Did you eat the fish?
No, we threw it back. It was
Okay.
just too. It was about an inch and a half too small. So I just took a
Okay.
picture. The boy got all excited. He hasn't caught one yet. Layla's caught one. I think Ava's caught one. He hasn't caught one yet. And then I catch this one, and I let him, bring it in with the net. I asked him if he wanted to hold it. He's like, nah, you caught it. You can hold it. So then he's like, he keeps throwing his line out. Now he wants to catch one. So we'll probably go back out next week before the weather gets too crazy.
I've never done that before. I've never been fishing. I mean, one time me and my dad and my brother, we were at a picnic or something, and they had some fishing there. We went down there and looked at it, but I've never done that. I've never been fishing before.
You know what? I mean, here's the funny thing is, so the neighbor, he just asked if we wanted to take the boat out, and he's got a really nice boat,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not driving this guy's boat. I'm not gonna mess this, expensive ass boat up, and then he wouldn't say nothing about it, but that would make me feel bad. So then eventually, like an hour later, he's like, how about I take you out? I was like, maybe. So my son's like, yeah, let's go. I'm like, okay, let's go. He's like, should we bring some fishing poles? I'm like, yeah, man, might as well. I'll cook back a few brews and throw some lines in, see what happens. So yeah, it was fun. It turned out to be real good.
Okay.
How about you? I know you had a busy week.
Yeah, I had a busy week. It's crazy. I can't even remember last weekend. I have no idea what I did. I don't remember anything about it. I actually, it's kind of bothering me that I can't remember what happened. I'm probably gonna have to ask Melissa as soon as we get done. I'm gonna have to ask her, like, what did we do last week? Because I don't remember. I really don't remember last weekend at all. Man, yes, I do. I took me and Champ went to the movies. I know we did that, but other than that, I don't really remember a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, man. Still in therapy, still going to physical therapy for this foot, and it's starting to get better a little bit. Actually, Melissa helped it get better. I've been going to therapy for about 3 weeks now, and I've been going for about 3 weeks now, and it's the same thing. Like, I'm still feeling the same. So the other day, Melissa was like, you know what? I'm gonna soak your foot. So she got the foot massager out. She put water in there. She put some Epsom salt in, and she had me soak my foot. So I did it for about 30 minutes, and it felt better. I've been going to therapy for weeks now, and it hasn't felt better. But just by soaking my foot, it started to feel better. So I'm going to start doing that.
What it is about Epsom salt, but it works. My dad swore by Epsom salt. He used to take a full bath and just some Epsom salt for his back.
Yeah, I hear people do that, yeah.
And had no problem. Like he always swore by that. And every time, like, I'm thinking, like, it's just like, what is it?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I guess you just don't ask questions, man. Just let it work its magic.
And I'm gonna keep doing it, man, because I'm gonna keep doing it because it's making my foot feel better, and then hopefully I can get I can get done with therapy this week. Hopefully I can get done with therapy this week. I see the doctor on Thursday, and I got a session tomorrow and Thursday. So hopefully, they let me go because I'm kind of tired of it. They keep scheduling my appointments, in the middle of the day, probably like around 12 or 1 o'clock. And by the time I get out to start work, I can't go too far because I gotta make sure I'm at the doctor's office, and then also. I'm picking up DJ from school because we're down to one vehicle right now. So I'm picking her up from school when she gets out of school. So it's making, work a little bit harder, because it's just, it's a lot of driving around. Luckily, my manager and everyone already knows, and they're cool with it, because I'll be busting my ass at work. So, they're giving me some leeway with, getting my foot back in order. So hopefully this week, man, hopefully this is the last week I have to do this crap. But 2 weeks ago, I do remember what I did now. 2 weeks ago, I went over to Windsor, and I boxed up the house. And I did Melissa's bedroom. Man, it took me, have you ever gotten a box from Home Depot?
Yeah.
A box. So I got the extra large box, right? I used 11 boxes for her closet and drawer, her dresser. I used 11 boxes for just that.
Wow.
Right. And I needed more for the rest of the house.
I bet.
Total between she and I, we probably bought 25 boxes to box the house up. So this weekend, Sunday, I went over and I moved the boxes from the house to storage. So I got a U-Haul, drove the U-Haul over there to Windsor, boxed it up. So it took me about 6 to 8 trips. I can't remember exactly.
Dang.
To box everything up. Yeah. Because we moved everything. So I was only supposed to be there from 10 to 2. That was my plan. Because I said, okay, I'm going to be up there. Because her daughter was staying there at the house too. So her daughter was supposed to finish the rest of the stuff. But she didn't. So that made the rest of the day longer. So I get there. I had to start packing other stuff up. Luckily, Melissa's cousins came over and her fiance, they came over to help. And, they boxed some stuff up. So me and Ty, who is actually one of my new boxing coach at the school now, he comes over every other Friday to work with the kids. He and I, which is going back and forth to storage, taking boxes. So we didn't get done till 8 o'clock Sunday night.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I was there from 10 to 8, boxing stuff up. But at least the house is done now, man. And
yeah, that's good.
I don't have to go back over there anymore. Friday, Champ was over here, so we hung out, and I'm trying to help get him ready for school now. I'm just trying to be ahead of the game. So I had him do some reading and some math and stuff like that, and we just hung out and just chilled over here. And he was asking me about drawing and stuff like that because he's starting to really get into drawing now. Okay. So that was cool. Yeah, that was cool. I know last week he and I went to the movies to go see Despicable Me 4. That was the first time I seen Despicable Me. I haven't seen any of the other movies.
Oh, you haven't seen the other ones? Oh,
I knew what they were, but I knew what they were.
Oh, you got to see the other 3, man. They're so good.
Yeah, he told me about it. So yeah, I told him I'd watch them with him because he's already seen them, so he already knows about all the characters and everything. What else? So yeah, man. So this was a busy weekend. There was the RSBC Jazz Fest, the State Fair, and I didn't get a chance to do none of it. This favorite day weekend.
I went to the State Fair. We get passes every year from like Rainbow Connection or they changed their name, Blood Cancer Foundation.
Okay.
So we always go because you can go on the it's like the news / charity night. So it's not as busy.
That's like a Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, it's not as busy. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. We like to go. We always do the same thing. Some bumper cars, buy some junk food, and then hit the circus, and then whatever else we can go look at the animals, and then we peace out.
Yeah, my Champ and DJ, that's one thing they don't want to see. They don't want to see the animals. Champ don't give a damn about animals. He don't like animals.
Oh man, it's funny because the farm animal, there was this goat would not shut up. I got a picture and a video of it, and you know how you like hear the goats on the TV and you don't think they sound like that. He sounded just like that. That annoying, like a person screaming. Ah,
yes. Yeah.
Ah. Yeah. Oh, it was ridiculous. I said, "What in the world?"
Yeah. So yeah, man. I had the guy come out to look at the car. He came out here on Friday. So basically, what's wrong with my car is the starter and the alternator. So that's gonna be about $1,000 to fix that. So I'm smiling from ear to ear about that.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
So, that's not bad. I thought that was the shit. I was like, what the hell? Like $1,000? I tried. He was like, you can get the parts yourself. So I looked it up on AutoZone to see the parts of a new starter and new alternator. It's only a $50 difference from what he charging me, compared to that. So I'm like, might as well just let him do it and get it. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so got that, and then I finally cleaned up this office. My office, like you really can't tell, but this place used to look absolutely horrible. But I never had the screen, so you can see how bad it was. But now my office is set up the right way. I'm getting back to doing the comic jump kick. I'm going to remix my old strips because I really hate the artwork that I use for it because I just want to get that idea out. And sometimes you just got to itch and just want to do something. But now I hate looking at that old art, so I'm going to just redo the strip with the better art. I'm going to take my time. You know, Champ was a baby when I was doing it. There was some nights when I had him in my arm and I'm drawing with a mouse. Now, you know, I have tablets I can draw on directly on, and I can draw the right way. So I think that's what I'm going to do is just redo these strips over with the good art now because like I said, I can't stand that art. And then the highlight of the weekend was Morgan's wedding. Man, that was nice. It was a good time, man.
Yeah, it looked like a real good time, man. You guys, Travis just posted a whole thing from all the weddings, and that was fun.
Yeah,
I saw some rare footage of Eugene dancing real quick.
Yeah, yeah, I was stepping with my frat brother. Yeah, man. Yeah, and there was a thing with me and Melissa on there too, dancing at the wedding.
Both of them.
Yeah. Yeah, so man, so it was a good time, man. Ross was here. I got to chop it up with Ross a little bit. Jotty was here, got to chop it up with Jotty also. Mike Gibbs, of course, Mike was there.
Of course.
He was there. He had a good time. And it was a lot of people from the karate circuit. The Gorons were there. It's a lot of people, man. A lot of people were there. And it was real nice, man. I was down at the Rooster Tail. And, you know, they all went and hung out after. I didn't. I went home. You know, they went back to the hotel and they partied on the rooftop after. Me and Mel, we came home and relaxed, chilled, and, you know, because I had to get up early on Sunday anyway to go over there to Windsor to do the house. And I was so tired on after I got home, man, Monday. So the plan was I go over there to Windsor Sunday, get done at 2:00, and then me and Melissa are gonna go to Arts Beats and Eats when I got back. So I'm thinking like around 4:00 we'll go to Arts Beats and Eats. Since I got back at 8:00, that was not happening. I wasn't trying to go anywhere. And then Monday we were supposed to go to the State Fair, but I was so beat from Sunday, we didn't make it to the State Fair, man. So that was it.
You know, at least you got it done.
Yeah, man, I'm happy about that, man. I'm happy that that house is done, is gone and out of our life. Now, man, we don't have to deal with that anymore. So that's good. That's about to save us a lot of money, you know, not having to pay on 2 houses anymore. So
for sure,
that's it. That's pretty much it, man. And like I said, I'm just excited to finally get back to doing the comic. And classes are good, man. I had testing last week also. We had some kids get promoted, and I think I got my next group of kids getting ready for black belt. But it's going to be about 2 years. You know, they're going to go through their red belt stages, and then they'll have a year after the red belt stage of preparing for their black belt test. So in about 2 years, I'll have my next group of kids get promoted to black belt. So that's pretty that's pretty cool. It's about 6 of them.
Good,
right now, it's 6 of them. Let's see how many last and make it to get to take this test. Let's see what happens with them. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's it. All right.
Very good.
All right, let's talk about it. Under Siege 2. What did you think about this movie?
You know, I kind of already knew. This is pretty much the same movie. It's just a different concept, different bad guy, and, you know, a couple of new characters. But for the most part, same movie. I feel maybe a little upgraded because it was a couple years later. Mm-hmm. I like the concept of this one a little more than the first one.
You know, it was weird because at first I was like, I don't think I like this as much as the last movie. But as the movie went on, it seemed like it improved. It got better as it went on.
It's kind of funny because you know, the the idea, like I said, it's pretty much the same movie, but the idea in this one was kind of ahead of its time for the most part. You got the basic idea is there's a satellite, very fancy, expensive satellite, thrown into space. Nobody knows about it, supposedly, except for the military.
Not everybody. This is a secret rogue, almost like rogue division of the military that
Yeah,
that started this thing.
but and again, like I said, most of this was pretty cool, but this whole movie could have easily been stopped.
What do you mean?
So when you get to the part where you got the two people who have the codes, if they never get together, or well, when we get there, so basically they're on the train. This whole thing's on a train. It's basically speed 1 and speed 2. Speed 1 on a bus, speed 2 on a boat.
Yeah.
Only in my opinion, you know, these two were actually decent movies. Speed 2 was terrible. The other crazy thing about this movie was two actors who were not really well known at this time. Katherine Heigl and Morris Chestnut.
Yeah, she was a kid. She was a kid at this thing.
Yeah. And well, she played a kid too. A little bratty one. We didn't know who she was when I first saw this. I saw this movie when it came out. So
no,
Katherine Heigl wasn't a thing.
She wasn't.
And I don't think Morris Chestnut was. I mean, he might have been up and coming.
I think this might have been his second movie. I think he might have did Boys in the Hood. Boys in the Hood might have been his first movie.
Oh yeah, he was. Okay, yeah, he was in that. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he's a little more well known, but at the time I watched this, I didn't really know who either one of them were, so it's kind of funny. Now she got her break more on Grey's Anatomy, and then he did a whole bunch of stuff before he started really doing a lot. But I feel like he's in like every TV show there is now, here and there. The other thing like I said, so you got Steven Seagal, his niece Katherine Heigl, on this train. You got the two people who basically hold this weapon, because that's what this satellite is. It's a weapon that the military is going to use if they absolutely have to. Top secret.
It seemed like something that the Empire would have had in Star Wars.
Yes,
like
right?
Vader.
Yes, 100%. I'll bet you that's probably where they got the idea from.
Probably
because it is kind of like its own little, you know, it's basically a death ray.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So the concept is the military has control of it. You've got two people who just happen to be dating, but completely against protocol because they shouldn't be together. They shouldn't be in the same room. They shouldn't be on a bus or a train or a plane together. There is another fella who created this technology, supposedly, Travis Dane, who they talk about, and they say he's dead. So of course, you know, he's gonna pop up.
You know,
why wouldn't he? As soon as they said he was dead, I said okay. Now, what I want to know is,
I saw this movie back in the day, so I didn't remember it now. You know, so this was like watching a new movie. It wasn't anything in this movie that some scenes seemed familiar, but I don't remember what happened. You know what I mean? So yeah. But as soon as they said he was dead, I said no. Why mention this guy? He's gonna show back.
I must have saw this movie a lot because I remembered it almost word for word.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I must have saw it quite a bit. And so the idea is, like I said, the couple with the codes, they're on a vacation, going wherever this train's going, California or something, I guess.
Yeah.
Casey Ryback's meeting his niece, Sarah Ryback, who he hasn't seen since she was little, because he's bringing her a teddy bear. This girl's a freaking teenager. What is she, 15, 16, 17?
I think she was older than that. I thought she was like 18. I thought she was like...
Yeah, probably.
Out of high school. Because wasn't she getting a drink or something at the very, very beginning?
She was trying to,
Okay. Okay.
but the bartender said her fake ID was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So she was still pretending when Casey went and
She's
sat down
under
with her.
20
She's like, "Aren't you going to drink with me?"
Yeah, she's under 21, but I think she might have been. Yeah, she could have been anywhere between 16
Probably
and
18 or 19. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. Her father died, and Casey and the father, they haven't talked to each other. They were fighting some kind of. They don't really talk about it
Mm-hmm.
at all, but so she's kind of hold a grudge against him for a while, and she kind of sticks it to him for the first few encounters. And like I said, the other two couple are on the same train, and they're having a nice little romance. And then the idea is all this is happening, and then just like in the first movie, a team pops up and hijacks the train, and we slowly learn Trevor Dane is back from the dead, and he wants his satellite back.
Did they say why he faked his death? I think they did, but I don't remember why.
I don't know that they really said why. I mean, maybe this was his plan all along. Because it's kind of crazy to fake your death and then wait.
Because he was mad at everyone. He was mad at the people that he worked for. And I don't like. I saw this movie a few weeks ago, and I don't really remember every single thing. So and it's not one of those movies I've seen repetitively.
Yeah. So from my understanding, he got fired because they said he was crazy. He told them what he does in this movie. He told them could happen.
Okay.
So they looked at him like he was crazy, told him to get lost, and then got rid of him after they used his brain, because they all were saying the same thing. He was crazy, but he was smart.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided, he wants his technology back. So he hires a military team. And of course, just like the first one, you got a crazy guy in charge, and then you got the money guy.
Yep.
Dane is the money guy, and then I don't even know the guy's name, but he's a military guy. He brings a military trained team. He's got shooters, sharpshooters. He's got some computer people to help out. Mm-hmm. And so the plan is, with a CD with codes and those two military people who shouldn't be together with their codes that have to be punched in at the same time, he can take the satellite back and take it over.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like I said earlier, they torture the two military people with like burning their retinas out.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to know, the second you give him what he wants, you're dead.
Yeah. You have to know that.
I understand you don't want to lose your eyeballs in a horrific way, but you're going to die anyway. Just like get it over with, jump off the train or something. Like, they're going to kill you anyway. And this whole movie's over. But obviously, that's not going to happen. Right. Not only that, they believe he can't do anything with the codes,
mm-hmm.
which was their first mistake. This guy created this. You're telling me he's not creating this plan unless he really thinks he can do this. Like, that was dumb for them to think that, like, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And just like I said, they give up the codes. He takes the satellite, throws them both off the train. So that was useless.
I saw the guy die, but they didn't show the woman. They just sort of fell off. So I thought maybe she fell in that water and they're going to say that she survived that thing. But they didn't. She did not show back up. So I'm assuming she was dead.
That's a long way to fall. I mean, if she's going to survive that kind of fall, she's going to have to float up somewhere where someone's going to help her.
Yeah.
She's probably pretty messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So then everybody starts getting the team that's been hired. They're moving all the passengers and the employees to the back train. so they can have everybody in one cart so they can keep track. And they're going around checking everywhere. And of course, they don't find Casey Ryback. And they don't find, what was the porter's name? Billy? Played by Morris Chestnut?
I
think it
don't
was
remember.
Billy.
I don't remember his name. Let me see.
I looked it
Let's
up
look.
earlier. I think it's Billy
Okay.
or Bobby, something like that. Anyhow, he somehow was able to hide. And so eventually Casey finds him and tells him to start opening the luggage and finding a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Now,
Bobby.
just like the first movie, he's bringing in a civilian who has no business being a part of this.
Yeah.
I mean, the niece was whooping his ass earlier over a broomstick
Mm-hmm.
with just a simple wrist grab.
Yeah.
So
this was one of those things, man, that this was like an old tired trope that I got tired of seeing as a kid. Like the black sidekick that just is like comic relief, that has little sayings and stuff that they do throughout the movie. I'm so happy we're done with that now. Now, if only they can just stop having the black character dance in movies, I'll really be happy. I really cannot wait for that to happen.
One day, maybe. Yeah, so basically the rest of the movie is kind of spent with Casey doing his thing. Earlier
he makes a comment. To the last movie. It's real similar to the last movie.
Earlier Casey had made a remark about not being trained to handle teenage girls. And then when the train gets hijacked, he's like, "Oh, this I'm trained for." I thought that was just funny because it's like, really? Like he's been praying for the train to get hijacked. Like it's not that bad, bro. Calm down.
Right.
So yeah, like you said, it's basically the same movie, more or less. Now, the funny thing is when they kind of figure out somebody is taking out their guys, they go right to the train registry, and the main guy in charge of the mercenaries, of course, he knows Casey Ryback. And so like that's gonna be now the first one, it was kind of the same thing. Like they knew of him, but they didn't really know him. But this guy, like he knew exactly who he was, and he wanted to pick a fight with him.
Well, after the events of the first movie, you would have thought the whole world would have known about Casey Ryback.
I don't know. They didn't really seem to give him much acolytes. They just kind of were like, "Okay, he did it. Good job. We don't have to."
I'm talking about off screen. In real life, like that thing that would have had to been all over the news for a couple of weeks, and he would have been on all of the talk shows and everything.
That's true. Very, very true.
So if anybody else is in the military or a high-ranking member of the military, they definitely would have known who he was.
So they're going about working on the satellite. He's got two ideas. He wants to show that he can use the satellite, so he blows up some manure plant that supposedly is a bomb making facility, and I think they said like Beijing or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And it ended up, the military was like, what happened?
Yeah,
they thought there was a glitch, but then he puts up his famous saying. I don't remember the saying, and then they realize who they're dealing with, and then he presents his terms.
Well, some of those military guys were pissed when they found out because they did not know that this secret organization had even existed, know. And now it seemed like America was attacking China.
Yeah.
So they're freaking out,
Well, so the satellite had a small circle. Even the people all working next to each other, I think there was a handful of like maybe 5 to 10 people, including Dane, who knew about this satellite. So you're right. When the the defense secretary of defense and all that start finding out about this, they were extremely pissed because they're like, "What the hell?"
Yeah,
But I mean,
some people got fired off screen. Some people,
oh yeah, but
after this movie went off, and it was a
they
day.
They made it sound like the president knew about it, though.
Well, they had to call him at the end, well, closer to the end, where it was like, well, people are about to die. We're gonna have to take this train out.
Yeah, but and the biggest reason for that was they wanted to. His next target was the Pentagon.
Yeah.
And I think something with the Pentagon that would have caused a whole nuclear disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was about to be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at 200 people compared to millions, which I mean, I get it. It sucks. Now, from what I understood, this satellite creates like an earthquake of some sorts, like it shoots like an energy wave or something.
I just thought it was a beam. I don't know.
They did say compared it to an earthquake, but I think that's why the targets had to be something that could combust.
Okay.
Something like that, because I think it was a matter of shooting like a wave of energy or like a sound wave or something that created millions of earthquakes or something. Because then, I mean, he figured out he had this one's crazy to me. He's asking for $1 billion to not blow up the Pentagon, and then he gets 100 million or 100 million offered to him. It was 100 million or 100,000.
No, it
to blow up.
No,
100,000.
It was something because
from a random guy to blow up his wife's a plane his ex-wife is on.
Yeah. And he took that as a challenge because he didn't know if he could do it at first.
Right? He did it though, but he had to do that. Then when they sent a couple of bombers at him, he had to take them out too.
Yep.
So yeah, this guy was just like having a field day.
Yeah.
And he was crazy. He was crazier than Tommy Lee Jones in the last one.
And I mean, he was smart. He was smart too. Yeah. He was very, very smart.
I think he had a better team too.
Yeah.
Because that dude, now that guy that was heading up this team, I didn't get a good look at him. I kept thinking he were kind of reminding me of the same guy from Avatar.
This was
I meant to look that up.
Everett McGill played him. Marcus Penn.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up. I'm curious because he gave me that same kind of vibe.
I'm not sure. I've never seen Avatar. I've seen parts of Avatar. I didn't watch it.
So he's got the buzz cut, he's got the the muscle body, and like the square face almost. And
I have to say, I did like the fight scenes in this movie better than the last one.
Yeah, but still,
we really
Casey
didn't see.
Ryback still doesn't fight that much.
It was more than the last one. It was more fighting than the last.
A couple more.
Yeah.
A few fight scenes, a few gun scenes, and I like the knife fight at the end.
Yeah.
I always enjoy that. I feel like I wonder if that's part of Seagal's Aikido training is with the knife, because he always tries to stick a knife fight in there.
Yeah, he does that a lot. I think I've seen seminars of him doing that. At least teaching it, I think.
The way he holds the knife is always I always thought that was cool.
I know what you mean, yeah.
And swings it around. It's interesting. I just never seen that. I wonder if that's Aikido or if it's like a military thing or something. I'm not sure. Did you ever see the show he did? I don't know if he's still doing it, where he was going around and he's a cop in Oregon.
No.
The show is funny because when he arrests people,
is it like a reality show? Is he supposed to be really? Is he supposed to be Steven Seagal?
He is Steven Seagal. He was actually a part of the police force there, but the show was funny because every time he arrested somebody, they'd be like, "Wait, are you Steven Seagal?" And they're like, "This dude is arresting you."
Right.
And he's like, "They're getting starstruck." But then he also showed that side of him that I really don't like, because he was very, very arrogant and very know-it-all.
Yeah.
Like there was this guy had to redo his gun test, his shooting test, and he was having trouble. And so he was teaching him how to use the Zen and the yin and the yang. And it was my wife and I were watching because she's the one that found it. And I was like, this is the stuff that makes people hate karate folk. Because this is what they think we all do, and we don't. Okay, yes, I understand like meditation and stuff, but this yin and yang and Zen, like that's not karate. So yeah, it was still a fun show to watch.
That's the type of stuff people make fun of. And they think that's what we all do, you know.
Once he started doing that, I was like, I can't watch this crap anymore.
You were checked out after that, huh?
Yeah, I really did. So, I mean, the rest of the movie, we get, he's going around, he's writing, he wrote an email to one of his cook buddies to, no, not a fax. That's how old this movie is. He made a fax to get to the Pentagon to get the military to understand he is on this train and he's going to help the best he can. So they need to send backup.
Yeah, because they didn't know where they were. They were moving around, but the military didn't know. So that's when the military, found their location.
Can you tell me something though? This is the part that cracks me up. And I know it's just a movie, so I can laugh about it, but it still makes me laugh every time I see it. If you got a fax, if I sent you a fax from a train, okay, hey Gene, this is Joe. I'm doing my military thing on this train. I need you to call the Pentagon to help. Would you know how to call the Pentagon? 1-800-Pentagon? Like, how do you even do that?
What? I think I'm kind of the wrong person to ask that because of who my dad is, and I would have been able to find out how to get in contact with the Pentagon just asking my dad, But the average
I just thought it was funny. I'm just like,
the average person, like you have to contact. I mean, this is a pre-internet time.
Yes.
So you're. Yeah,
you're not.
I don't know how somebody would find it. I mean, it's not like you probably have to call you probably have to go to your local military branch or something, and the Army or the Marines, and say, "Hey, I got an emergency situation."
Can you call 911 and say, "Hey, I need to get a message to the
I don't think so. I think they're going to probably transfer you to your local police authorities.
That's what I'm saying.
You're probably going to end up talking to this person and have to wait and talk to this person and wait and have to talk to this person. By the time you get to the Pentagon, everybody would have been dead because that message wouldn't have gotten.
That's what I'm saying. It's just so funny. Like this guy, he doesn't even see the facts for like an hour.
Yeah.
And then when he sees it, all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, sir, we have a message I'm patching through right now. It's really important."
Right.
From California. And they're like, "Casey Ryback's on this train? Oh my, what's he doing? I think he's on vacation with his niece, sir." Really?
Yeah, they knew all of that.
It's just funny. It made me laugh. The other thing that was crazy is Casey and Bobby, they get thrown off this train. Bobby gets back on because he has the CD, this very important CD
that he loses.
Yeah, I know. So he walks. He had a chance to escape with his life, and he walks back on to the train. Casey, on the other hand, he has to hijack a truck, drive through the mountains, fly the truck off a cliff to jump back on the train. Okay, no problem.
I mean, I bet that was cool to see in the 90s, but now that's kind of that's ridiculous.
They would have had to do something a little bit more realistic. But yeah, it was interesting.
So
one of my favorite parts of this was when he makes a bomb.
Well, hold on. So Bobby does lose the disc. He has the CD. So basically, the bad guys have this disc of some codes or something that they need in order to attack the
targeting codes.
Yeah. So I didn't understand why Bobby did not hide it somewhere. Why does he have it on him? All those different drawers and compartments and closets and secret panels and everything. You couldn't have stashed that thing somewhere.
True.
They wouldn't have found it. They would not have found it.
As long as they thought him or Casey had it, they weren't going to kill him.
Exactly.
But the second that they find it, like, they have no problem shooting you now.
Casey
does get shot.
Casey wouldn't have told. Yeah, that's right. He does get shot, and he acted like nothing ever happened throughout the movie.
I want to know who this military chick is that has a big old sniper AR or whatever. He walks right out. She should have shot him right in the head.
Yeah.
How'd she only get him in the shoulder? He didn't see her. He never saw her.
No. Yeah.
She needs to be kicked. She needs to be thrown off the train.
She got thrown off a helicopter.
Eventually. But I'm saying the guy that brought her, if he found out she had a shot to take, because they would have been fine.
Yeah.
She could have blasted him right in the head.
Yeah. It seemed like the CGI started getting really, really bad. The special effects, actually, it wasn't CGI. The special effects got really, really bad at the end of this movie. It was horrible. It was almost fake. Like you would have saw that like on a Martin show or something like that, or Saturday Night Live. It did not.
Oh, the explosion was bad.
Yeah.
The fingers getting cut in the chopper was bad.
That was all horrible. Goodness gracious.
Looked like sausages. So Casey creates a bomb with like a mixer cup and some chemicals and then a pager. You know, it said F off or FU or something on it. It was funny to see a pager. Mm-hmm. That's how old this one is. And then he sends Bobby to go disconnect the hostage cart. And the main military guy, he's getting pissed. So he starts looking for some leverage. So what he goes and finds the niece. Because she's wearing a big Navy cross around her neck. So she's real easy to find.
Right. And he just knew that was the one he's looking for, the person that he was looking for.
Well, he when he went back to the itinerary, he saw Casey Ryback +1, and then, you know, it wasn't that hard. She's the only one wearing a random Navy cross. Mm-hmm. She should have put that away, or maybe put it on. Well, don't put it on someone else. You don't want to get someone else in trouble.
Or she, like you said, it just could have been tucked away or something.
Yeah, at least, I mean, she could have tried. It would have helped, because she knew right away what they were looking for when they started looking around. Mm-hmm. So now that the hostages are safe, really the last thing Casey has to do is stop the satellite and save his niece. So once Bobby helps disconnect, basically his job is supposed to be done, but he hops back to help Casey. Dude, you've risked enough of your life already today.
You're just a porter. You're just a
That's
porter.
Exactly. You're a hero, okay? Go back. You're lucky you didn't die. Mm-hmm. So basically, Casey, he goes, he saves the niece, has a really good knife fight at the end with this guy who wants to fight him with the knife.
Yeah, he was ready. He was ready for that.
But he learned really quick. He didn't even barely stand a chance. Even when he got the knife out of Casey's hand, he started getting messed up even more.
Do you think this was the best fight scene in the movie?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
And I liked it better than the original too. The original, I remember that knife fight being longer, but it wasn't very long. At least this one had a little bit more to it. Mm-hmm. But I'll bet you if we go and find a Steven Seagal interview, because all his fight scenes are quick. Mm-hmm. And I think that he thinks it's more realistic that way, which is not wrong. But if you're in a movie and I want to see a good movie, you should make a fight scene a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I mean, like one of my favorite fight scenes in John Wick 4 is when he's downstairs and he's just hitting people, shooting them. He's got nunchucks and he's just blasting people with the like. It was the fight scenes weren't super long, but the scene itself was 4 or 5 minutes of just him just beating the crap out of people.
You know what's funny? Steven Seagal's hair is darker now than it was back then.
Yeah, what is that about? That's crazy. Probably dying now.
If you see him, it's jet black. His hair is jet black. His goatee is jet black. It's just weird looking. And I was wondering when I was watching this movie, Steven Seagal, he does not have the ponytail. He didn't have the ponytail in the last movie either, did he?
No.
So was that a clip on? Like, that's all I know of Steven Seagal. He always had his hair pulled back. I thought that he always had it in everything. I thought that was his signature look.
I didn't think about that. No.
So was that a clip? He had a man unit. He had a man unit. He had a little piece of weave. Little piece of weave in his hair. Man.
So they get control back of the satellite because he shoots the computer that Trevor was holding, and that gives them back control. They destroy the satellite.
Yeah, because
millions of dollars.
One part you passed over. So what the military was doing, they were trying to find which satellite, and I never realized how many satellites were up in space.
No, but that was not all. So there was random satellites, but he created 50 ghost satellites.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So they were getting rid of ghost satellites that were hiding the original satellite.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, some of them were real satellites, but they weren't the one. Yeah, so they were shooting down random crap they thought was the right one, but it wasn't.
Man,
until Casey shot the thing.
The telecommunications had to be messed up that day for the world, for everybody. Because it's just not American satellites up there. There's all types of satellites from all different countries up there.
Yep. I mean, you could have messed up like a space station or something for all they know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he saves the day. He saves his niece, him, the porter, the niece. They fly up the helicopter that was supposed to take the bad guys away. And one last effort made by Trevor, and they slammed the door on his fingers, cut his fingers off.
I thought his name was Travis.
Travis?
Yeah, Travis Dane. Okay. Travis Dane, yeah.
Travis Dane. He flies off in a fireball.
That was horrible. The end of the movie is stupid. The special effects is just bad. It's horrible.
It was
it was like they ran out of money, probably from that stupid truck jump where he had to jump back onto the train. They probably should have took that money and used that for their explosion and their end, because the end of the movie was just dumb.
No, let me tell you this. Let me ask you this. I mean, are you surprised? Not that we want one. Are you surprised they didn't do a third?
No, I'm not surprised, because back then in the early, like nowadays, if a movie is successful, they're going to try and get 3 movies or 4. Back then, they didn't do that too often. Like 3 movies, like we had Star Wars, we had Back to the Future. I don't know too many other movies besides horror movies that had, consistent part 1, 2, 3, and 4 back then. A lot of times we got the part 1 and we got part 2, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really surprised.
Where would they even go? Under siege on a plane?
No, it'd probably be on a bus. It'd probably be on a bus. They did the
can't be you can't do speed.
Then it could be on the plane then, because they did the train, they did the boat, they gotta have a plane then. Planes, trains, automobiles, I guess. Or planes, trains, and boats. I don't know, man. So who knows? But that was probably our next movie. That was probably supposed to be for Steven Seagal for Under Siege Part 3, which is Passenger 57. That was probably supposed to be, because it came out around the same time, in the 90s, So
what did you like this one better, the same? Because I think I got a better grade for me.
Like I said, I think this movie started off, for me, it started off worse than the first movie, but eventually I started to like it and enjoy, some of it. So, I mean, I didn't hate this movie. It was okay. It was fine. I would probably give this a C plus, I guess. B minus, C
Okay,
plus.
so well, you gave the last one a B minus. So if you're doing a C plus, it's
okay,
a little
C plus.
worse.
Then. Yeah.
Okay, and I think I'm the opposite. I think I'm a little better.
Only because of the beginning. Okay, and it's only the beginning for me.
I think I'm going B. So yeah, I'm good.
All right.
And the funny part was, the funniest part about this is at the beginning when they showed the girl. All I can think of is I want to see Under Siege 2s.
Yeah, you know what? And after I thought about that, it must have been the first movie that Mike was saying that. So those tools that he was talking about was something else. It wasn't this movie. Because I remember the first movie better than this movie. So
well, either way, that's all I could think about. I was dying. Yeah. I just kept saying it to myself, and I was laughing, just thinking about little Mike.
Yeah. So
that's funny.
All right. So next week we're doing Under Siege 2. I'm sorry, not Under Siege 2. That's this week. We're doing Passenger 57 next week. Passenger 57 with Wesley Snipes. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. I do know last time I saw it, I enjoyed it. I mean, it has to be. I don't think I've seen it in over 20 years. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie.
Yeah, it's been a minute for me, so see how that goes.
Got to make sure we remind Angel when we're watching. He might have forgotten. So I'll shoot him a message, let him know. Anything else, man?
No, I'm good.
Cool. Well, all right, everyone. That's it for this week for Fist Kicks and Flicks. Everyone stay safe, stay strong. We'll holler at you next week. And I'm going to play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.